Liz here today for Lawnfawn and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a Christmas one-layer card to share with you all. I'm going to be using Ho Ho Holidays, Holiday Helpers and Ready Set Snow for my card today. I also went and pulled out some Ink Dink masking paper and I'm going to use this to die cut the images out of, so I have masks that are nice and easy to create, but of course you could just stamp and cut them out yourself with some scissors if you prefer. So now it's time to stamp my images onto the panel. So I'm just working out what images are going to be in the foreground and what are going to be in the background, and then just stamping them progressively as I go to make sure that they go behind the right images and things like that. So I started off with the elf and the two presents at the very front. I then moved on to Mrs. Claus and the reindeer. I then used the sleigh and the nice list. I also then stamped a few of the toys around as well. Then I'm using Santa, the bow and the little sack of presents and stamping those now. Then I covered those up and then stamped the little village from Ready Set Snow into the background. I covered that one up as well, then created a little snowy hill out of some more masking paper, cut that out and placed it over the entire scene, and then just covered up the very bottom with some purple tape. And then I ink blended over the entire background using the tumbled glass distress ink and the life-changing brushes. And I just could not believe how smooth the blending was. It's so cool. I've never used those brushes before. They're new to me, but they're definitely my favorite. So now it's time to do the fun part, which is reveal the images from underneath. So I just peeled off all the masks and I love the way the scene looks. The only problem is with using the dies as masks is you get the little white border around, but I just sort of use that to my advantage and only coloured up to where the white border would be, and I think it looks okay in the end. But if you wanted to go the few extra steps and cut it out with your scissors, you definitely could do that and it would be a lot more clean. So then I'm now Copic colouring in my entire scene. I started off with some reds for Santa and his clothes, the little bow on the sack, and also Rudolph's nose. I then moved on to some greens and coloured in the little elf's outfit with the green markers. I used some goldy sort of yellow colours for the hair for Mrs. Claus and the elf and the little doll. Now I'm using a couple of different shades of brown for the sleigh and also the teddy bear and then the reindeer as well. I went a little bit darker on his head and then used the lighter E markers for his body. So I'm using E55, E53, E51 and E50 for him. Once I finish colouring in the reindeer, I'm going to move on to some teal or aqua colours. So I'm using that for Mrs. Claus's dress and also one of the presents. I'm using BG49, BG13, BG11 and BG10 for that. Now moving on to some hot pinks. I'm using RV19, RV25, RV13 and RV10, and I'm just colouring in one of the larger presents, one of the bows on the presents and also the little doll's dress as well. I really love mixing in hot pink with these sorts of colours. I think it's really bright and fun and adds a lot to it. Now I'm using some yellows, so I'm using Y19, Y15, Y13 and Y11, and I'm just colouring in the little duck and the bow and also the buckle on the elf's clothes and also Santa's clothes, and also I coloured in some yellow on the sleigh for some details as well. And now I'm just moving on to some warm greys. So I used some lighter warm greys for the white areas and then I'm using the darker warm greys for all of like the areas that I want to appear black. So now that all of the Copic colouring is all finished, I'm just going to go through with a white gel pen and just add in some white details. I really love doing this lately. I think it adds a lot to your images. And I really love how it looks. So I'm just adding a few white details to all of the different images, just doing like a line and a little dot on some of them. There's really no rhyme or reason towards this. I just do whatever I think looks good at the time. So then once all of the white gel pen details are completed, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. So I just used the Have a Merry Christmas from Ho Ho Holidays and just stamped that with black ink at the very top of the panel using my Misty tool. And then I decided this panel needed a little bit more colour. So now that it's not really a one layer panel, I mean it still kind of is, it's a very flat card which is super nice, but I just popped this up onto some red pen and paper from the Snow Day remix, just using some foam tape. So that finishes up my card for today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. One layer cards are so fun and easy to create, and also they can be really easy to mass produce as well. So thank you so much for stopping by today. All of the supplies will be listed down below and over at the blog, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks so much for stopping by today.